Hello everyone. In today's session we will see about class and objects in Python and what exactly OOPS concepts are. So when we say any programming languages, the language like C is known as structured programming language. So there are types of programming languages. So some languages are structured programming languages in which programs are written with only the structured programming constructions like sequence, repetition and selection. Language like C does not support object-oriented concept. So they are just programs are written only with structured constructions like sequence, repetition and selections. So C language is a structured programming language, whereas the language like Java, C++, C Sharp, so those languages are object-oriented programming languages. They support all the features of object-oriented programming, which includes abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism. So we will see what are those concepts in detail in coming session, but just understand that language like Java, C++, C Sharp, they are purely object-oriented languages. Those languages will support all the object-oriented programming concepts like class, object, abstraction, polymorphism, inheritance and encapsulation. And there are some languages like Visual Basic, which is a object-based programming language. Language like Visual Basic, they will support a subset of the feature of object-oriented programming. So they will support the concept like class and objects, but they do not support all the concept of object-oriented programming. So those languages are known as object-based programming language. So mainly there are three types you have seen. First one is structured programming languages, which is C language. So that is a structured programming language. Language like Java, C++ and C Sharp, those who support all the concept of object-oriented programming, they are known as purely object-oriented programming languages. And language like Visual Basic is known as object-based programming language. And when we come to the Python, so Python supports structured as well as object-oriented, right? So Python supports structured as well as object-oriented programming concept. So in language like Java, so when we program in Java, we cannot run program without class. So we have to write a class in Java. It's purely object oriented. But in Python so far we have seen that programs which we have written are without class as well, right? So in Python so far we have seen the programs without class as well. So we can write and execute programs without writing class. So it's structured as well as it supports object-oriented concept as well. So Python supports both. Python is a structured programming language as well, and Python supports object-oriented concept as well. So what are those object-oriented concepts, right? So class, object, polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance. So these are all OOPS concept, or these are also known as object-oriented programming concept. So the languages which support this concept are known as object-oriented programming languages. And Python supports structured as well as object-oriented programming concepts as well. So Python supports both of them. So in Python we can write class and execute the program as well. And without class also we can execute the programs as well. So now see what exactly class and objects are. So for any object-oriented programming language, class and object are very important. So if you see the class, so class is a blueprint for creating object. So in general concept, forget about the programming language, just take a general example. Class is basically a category. So if you say the animals, right? So there are multiple animals. So animal is a class. And there are different objects of animal class. For example, giraffe, lion, elephant, all the animals are basically object of animal class. So class is like a category, or class is like a blueprint for creating object. Class is a logical entity and object is a physical entity. Technically saying, class is a collection of variables and methods. So variable means attributes and method means behavior. So class is a collection of variables and methods. As class is a logical entity, it does not occupy any space in memory. class does not occupy any space in memory, whereas object is a physical entity. So object occupies the memory, right? So object occupy space in memory. Class can have multiple objects. So if you say the animal class, it can have multiple objects, but objects are independent of each other. Similarly, if you take a car class, so car class can have multiple objects. It can be a Maruti, it can be a Audi, it can be a BMW, and so on. So class is a blueprint and it can have multiple object. Object is basically an instance of a class. Object is an instance of a class and it occupies the memory, right? And there can be a multiple objects. Now let's take another example. So if you say the employee, right? So employee is a class. Class can have variables and methods. So employee class is a blueprint. So we can add ID and name. Also we can add variables like ID and name, and also there can be a methods as well. So get bonus and get work. Now this is the blueprint. Employee is a class. Employee class is a blueprint for creating object. ID and name are variables, those are attributes, and get bonus, get work are methods, those are behavior. Now by using this class or by using this blueprint, there can be a multiple objects we can create. So there can be a multiple employee objects. So let's say employee 1, employee 2, employee 3, employee 4. First employee can have name, all the objects are independent of each other. So every object, all the objects will have some common attributes, right? So they can have common variable like ID and name. So every employee will have ID, but that ID will be different. Those are variables. There will be a common attributes like ID, name across all the employees, but the value will be different for them. So first employee will have the ID of 1, second employee will have ID of 2, third employee will have ID of 3, and so on. They can have different name as well. So name is common attribute for all the object, but value will be different. So first employee can have Jack as a name, second employee will be have Jenny as name, third employee will be having the name of Ron, fourth employee is Mary. So name is common, name attribute is common across all the object, but the value will be different. They are independent of each other. Similarly, it can have variables as well. So get bonus and get work, they are methods. Get bonus and get work methods. So they might have different logic for every object, right? So behavior can be a different for all the objects. So first employee might have different bonus amount, second employee will have different formula for bonus, third employee will have different formula or logic for bonus amount, fourth employee will have also different logic for bonus calculation. So all of the objects will have common variables and methods, but the value will be different for those variables and method across all the object. So that's how we can define class and object of practically, right? So now we will see practically one example how we can define classes and how we can use objects. So before that, let's revise one more time. Class is like a blueprint for creating object. Class is a logical entity. Class is a logical entity and it does not occupy any space. Whereas object is a physical entity and object occupies space in a memory. Class is a collection of variables and methods. So what class will contain? It contains collection of variables and methods. Class can have multiple objects, but objects are independent of each other. Object is an instance of a class and it occupies the space in memory. Now let's see practically. We have also seen the example of employee class, right? Now let's see practically. Before that, one more thing. In Python, we have frequently heard function. We have seen the functions, right? So functions and method both are basically a block of code which we can call multiple times, right? But there is a small difference between function and method. If function created inside the class, it is method. So far we have created function outside of the class. So whenever the block of code or function, if it is written outside of the class or without the class, then it is called as a function. Whereas if the function created inside the class, it's known as method. right? So there is a small difference, that is the small difference. Basically function or method are a block of code which we can use multiple times by calling it. But if the function written inside the class, it is called as a method, and if function is written without the class or outside of the class, it is called as a function. Now let's see practically example how we can define a class and how we can create a object and how we can call the methods from using objects. So I am going to PyCharm. In PyCharm, let's create a new file. I am creating a new Python file. Let's create a new Python file. I am naming that file as class object demo. So we have created a Python file. In this file, now let's define one class. So to define a class, we have to use the keyword class. Then we have to mention the class name. So I am just mentioning it as my class. So we have created a class name by using class keyword. After that, colon, and we have to give the indentation. There will be an indentation for, so now we are inside the my class. Now in this my class, I am going to create, let's say, one method. So how we can create a method or function? So if we are creating a function inside the class, it is called as a method. So how we can create a method? We have to just use a def keyword, and I am giving the name as, let's say, print name. So I am creating a method of the name print name. After that, we have to write the self keyword within round brackets. So what does this self keyword means? It means that this method belongs to my class. So by default, we have to write self keyword inside round brackets. It defines that this print name method belongs to my class. After that, we have to put colon, and now we are inside the print name method. So what I am going to do, I am simply printing print statement inside print name method. So whenever this method is called, it will print this statement that is inside print name method. So this is how we can create a method inside the class. Now let's create another method. So how we can create another method? So I am creating one more method. Let's say def print. I am naming it as, let's say, print email. So I have created a method of print email, and we have to add the self keyword here. So self means print email method belongs to my class. Now in method body, we can simply again print. What I will do, in this method we can pass parameters as well, right? So we have seen in previous session how to pass parameters. So let's say I want to pass email. So in this method I will be passing email, and let's print email as it is. So email is comma, and then I will print value of email. So this method will accept email as a parameter, and we are printing that email here. So whenever we are calling this method, we have to pass email here. So that will be passed in this method, and that value will be printed. So this is how we can create a class, and we have created two methods here. As these functions are written inside the class, these are known as method and not the function. So these are called as methods. And self keyword denotes that this method belongs to my class. Now let's see, we have written the method, right? So we have created a class, that is a blueprint, and we have added method as well. Now let's see how to call this method. So if you want to call this method, what we have to do? We have to first create object, right? So we have to first create the object. So how to create an object? So to create an object, we have to write a class name. So I am writing class name and round brackets. So this is basically an object. So we have created object. So object is an instance of a class. Now this object will occupy some memory space, right? And to refer that memory space, or we can create or we can assign variable to this object. So I will assign, let's say, p1. So p1 is a object variable. So p1 is referring to that memory location of that object. So p1 equals to my class. So we have created an object, and we have assigned the variable to that object memory location. So p1, by using this p1, we can simply access the methods from this my class. So if you want to access or if you want to call this method, what we can do, we can simply use p1, we have to use dot, and then we can call the print name method. So p1 dot print name. So this will call this print name method and will print this statement which we have added in our print name method. So let's execute this file. So when we run this file, you can see the output, right, inside print name method. So by using this object variable, we can call this print name method from my class. Also, both the methods will be accessible, right? So p1 dot, we can call another method as well, that is print email. But for print email method, we have to pass parameter, because when we define that print email method, we have mentioned that it will accept email as a parameter. So we have to pass some email here. So I will just pass, let's say, test@gmail.com. So we are passing the email value which will be passed and printed in this statement, right? So when we again execute this program, both the methods will be invoked. So first method, when it is invoked, it will print inside print name method, and we have also invoked the second method, that is print email, in which we are passing email as a parameter. That's why it is printing email as well. So if you see, this is printing email. We can pass any number of parameters. So let's say along with email, I am passing emp id. Let's pass emp id and let's print emp id as well. So let's say emp id. I am just printing emp id in this statement. So while calling this method, so when we are calling this print email method, we have to pass, along with the email id, we have to pass id as well. So let's say 100. I am passing 100. And now execute this program. It will print email as well as emp id which we are passing here. So this is how we can create a class. We have created an object. We have assigned the object variable, and by using that p1 variable, we are calling or we are invoking print name and print email method. Right? We can create as many objects. For example, let's say I am creating another object now. So what is the syntax? Let's say my class. So I am class name, and then we have to assign the object variable. So let's say I am assigning the variable value, let's say this time p2 equals to my class. And if you want to call the main methods, so how we can call it? So p2 dot print name and p2 dot print email. So in this case, I have to pass two values. One is email and for emp id. So two parameters we have to pass. So self will be by default, which denotes that this method belongs to my class. So self is a by default keyword. But along with the self, we have to pass email and emp id as well. So I am passing another emp id, let's say test2@gmail.com, and we have to pass some id as well. So I will pass 101. And now let's execute this program. So when we execute this program, it will print another statements as well, right? So for first object, it is printing these two statement, and for another object, that is p2, we have created p2.printName, that is calling or invoking the print name method, and it is printing inside print name method, and it is also calling or invoking the print email method which accept email and emp id, and we are printing those value. So it is printing that statement as well. So this is how we can simply create class and we can create the object. In the coming session, we will see some more topic about classes and object. So thank you for watching this video.